Okay, so we are going to talk about the disposal account and how to calculate the disposal and how to account, how to recognize everything in this feature. So I'll just give you an example and show you how you have to do with the disposal account. But by the way, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, so the best example that I'll give under disposal is, firstly, I would like to tell you what the disposal is all about. A disposal is all about when you sell a fixed asset. Okay, a sale of a fixed asset is termed as disposal. So we want to know how we do recognize that asset that was in existence in our business for quite some time, how we are going to remove that asset in our books of our accounts or from our books of accounts. So what are we going to do? Let's give an example. Let's say in 2009, okay, in 2009 we bought this motor van at 50,000 kwacha. Then this motor van in 2010, in 2011, just to make it fair, was sold for about let's say 35,000. Okay, that is either cash or bank. Then it is the company's policy to depreciate all its motor van at 10% straight line method. And remember, I did a video on depreciation talking about two methods of depreciation. If you want to know how to depreciate your assets, please check up on the videos that I've done, and I'm sure it will help you. So in this video, I want to talk about how to depreciate. We just look at this question. So it is the company's policy to depreciate all its motor vans at 10% straight line. So what are you going to do? And they'll tell you in the question to prepare, one, the motor van account, and two, to prepare a depreciation account. Okay, let's call it the accumulated depreciation. The reason is that depreciation is an expense, but then accumulated depreciation has its own account to show you the depreciation expenses for the past years that this asset has been in our business. So let's say also prepare an accumulated depreciation, then also the disposal account. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with the motor van account, and it's a very simple account. So since we've been using T formats, I also use T formats. Okay, so T formats, and this is a motor van account. Now, when you buy a motor van, we usually debit our motor van, right? So since we debit our motor van, so we know that in 2009 we had, let's say, cash. Okay, let me just create more space. So cash, and our motor van was worth 50,000. Nothing was sold in this year 2009. According to the question, it didn't tell us that they sold anything, so we just have to bring the credit down this side with the same amount, which is 50,000, and we have our total 50,000 there, and also there we have our total 50,000. Then balance brought down still remains our 50,000. This balance brought down as 50,000 shows that we still have this asset in our books. Okay, I think let me just change, for the sake of this video, let me just change something here. Instead of 2011, let's just put 2010, so that this video is shorter than usual. So 50,000, it just means that this asset is still in the business and is still running. So now this balance brought down will result to a 2010, right? Now we've entered another accounting year. So because we've entered another accounting year, this 50,000 still shows us that we have this asset. But in the question, they've also told us that this asset in 2010 was sold for 35,000. But then we do not write the 35,000 in the motor vehicle account or motor van account. The reason is that if we write the 35,000 here, it would mean that there is some motor van worth 15,000 remaining in our business, but that is not true. We only have one motor van and we bought it at 50,000. So because of that, we're going to write off the amount that we bought it at. Okay, so we're just going to write disposal here and we're going to write 50,000, and this would mean that our account has been closed. We no longer have any motor van according to this question. Okay, we no longer have any motor van in our business, but if you had any motor van, it would have shown, because what would have done is that, remember here we've written cash 50,000, maybe another motor van we bought it at 35,000, would have listed them. But then if they tell you that that motor van that you bought in 2009 was sold in the year 2010, dispose it off at the value at which it was bought at. This will make sense when you go deeper into disposal account. So now, the other thing that you have to note is that we have to create the accumulated depreciation. By the way, that is the end of that account. Very simple. So this is the accumulated depreciation account. The only thing that you must always do in this account is the date should always be 31st December. If your accounting year ends in December, this is 2009. But how would we know the accumulated depreciation if we didn't calculate? So we have to calculate the accumulated depreciation in 2009. What was the accumulated depreciation? By the way, they can also give you information such as this. The accounting policy that the company uses is depreciating it at 10% straight line, right? But then they'll tell you to say they also calculate depreciation in the year of from the year of acquisition, which is the year of purchase, until the year of disposal. So what we're going to do, since we're using straight line, we're going to say 50,000. By the way, I've said check on the last videos that we've done to know how we are depreciating in straight line, and they've said 10%, so 0.1, and this is 5,000. But remember, it is a straight line method, so it means in 2009 and in 2010 we'll still have the same 5,000. So 5,000 is depreciation. So what you have to do, since you know your depreciation amount, what you have to do is in this account we have 31st we have on the 31st December 2009, we're going to write that date and we're going to write profit or loss. Profit or loss, I'll just abbreviate it like that. But then what was our accumulated depreciation in 2009? Was 5,000. So what do you have to do? Your carried down is still 5,000 here. 5,000, and here it's still 5,000. But remember, we didn't sell it off in 2009, so the balance brought down still remains 5,000. Now, there's another thing that they've told you in the question. We've said they also charge depreciation in the year of disposal. So we sold it in 2010. Remember, this results to 2010. So in 2010, what you have to do now here is that you have to write the depreciation, profit or loss, for 2010, which was also what? 5,000. Okay, then let me just give you another. So this is the continuation. We've said from the previous page, we've said our balance brought down was 5,000. Also, on 31st December 2010, our profit or loss, which is the depreciation that we had in 2010, was also what? 5,000. Don't be disturbed by this because it's just lack of space, but if you're writing in your book or in an exam, it would just be straightforward. So now you've depreciated this asset twice, 5,000 in 2009 and the 5,000 in 2010. But this asset was disposed in 2010. So what you have to do, you have to write disposal here and get the 5,000, add the 5,000 that you've depreciated in 2009 and 2010. If this asset was in the business for 5 years, add all the depreciations for 5 years and then take it on the opposite side, which is the debit side, as 10,000, or the amount that you're given according to the question. But this is just an example, just to give you a clear insight of this video or example. So you have 10,000 here and you have 10,000 there, so which means your account has been closed. This shows that this asset was sold off and we no longer have any assets in our business. The last part and the easiest part is the disposal account. Now in the disposal account, there are 3 things that enter the disposal account or that are counted into this account. One, the cost, and the cost is the only one that is debited rather. Then you also have accumulated depreciation and the amount that we sold this asset at. Now, where do I get these? I go back to my account. Let me just go to my and I change my color to green this time around. I'll get this disposal that I wrote in the motor van shows that this was taken on the credit side of the motor van account. So meaning that in my disposal, I'll take these costs on the debit side and I shall write it as cost, debit side 50,000. That's what it means. I'll just take it to the opposite. Then I'll go to my accumulated depreciation. What was my disposal? I'll get this disposal here. It was on the debit side as disposal 10,000, but then this is an accumulated depreciation account, right? So accumulated depreciation was 20,000. Then, okay, let me just write the amount nicely. 20,000. But then, remember in the question, what did they tell us? They told us that this was sold for how much? 35,000. So I'll take my 35,000 into my disposal on the credit side as cash. 35,000. Now the rule is that if your debit side, okay, let me just even change the color because I'm about to make a very important statement here. If the debit side of your disposal account is lower than your credit side, it means you've made a profit. So if you've made a profit, because if your debit side is lower, right, you're going to have the difference coming here. So because of that, you've made a profit on disposal, which means the cash that you've sold it at plus the accumulated depreciation has given you a profit. The opposite is also true. If your credit side, which is this side, is lower than your debit side, then you've made a loss on disposal. So what was the balance here? It's 55,000. And here you have 5,000, and this is a profit because your debit is lower. Okay. you've made a profit of 5,000. Now, since you've made this profit, in this account there's no balance brought down because this asset has now gone out of the business. It has been disposed of, so you cannot bring down the balances because it doesn't exist in our business anymore. So now that you've made a profit, what do you have to do? You check where is your profit on the debit side of your disposal account. So what are you going to do? You're just going to write debit disposal. That's how you account for it, 5,000. And you credit your profit or loss, which is the incomes part of your profit or loss, as 5,000. And that's what you have to do. I hope you're going to enjoy this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and God bless you.